Good morning, everybody. Jay here with another War of the Visions video. And let me say something. Okay, look, if you're somebody who suffers from like the fear of missing out and you weren't planning to pull for Lara Croft, I'm going to give you a guide real quick. Go to like this video and just close it, because this is going to be a Lara Croft preview video. We're going to look at everything she's got, and she's got two real big guns and a lot of really good stuff in her kit. So let's take a look right now. Okay, first things first, big shout out to the members on YouTube and the patrons over on Patreon. Thank you guys for supporting what we do here. Y'all are awesome, and I couldn't do it without your support. Now, let's talk about Lara Croft a little bit. And the first thing I want to point out is, no, that is not my Lara Croft that you see on the screen. That is the companion unit Lara Croft that they're previewing. So there's a sneak peek at like kind of what her skills can be with that interesting build that they have. I don't really like the items they've equipped there. I will show off another build for her a little bit later in the video, but I thought that was a cool way to start things off. Now, let's move to her stats at like a base level and see how she grows from 99 to 115 to 120 like we usually do, and you can see that on the screen right now. At 99, her attack, or her HP is 2100 and 341 attack. It grows up to 2698 HP and 456 attack by level 120. Honestly, not a massive jump, at least in HP, from 99 to 120. Most of the jump also happens from 99 to 115. In fact, her stats at 115, that middle column, 25, 31 HP, and 431 attack, are pretty dang good. You can see she's a fast unit with 68 base agility, and it stays that way at each tier. So if you're worried about agility, you don't have to tier all the way up. Now, I want to point out her dexterity and luck in particular. Her dexterity at level 120 is 304, and her luck is 257. This is a unit that is going to crit a lot. Like, she is a critical hitting based unit in a lot of different builds. So that dexterity, very, very important. And her luck being high, 257, is also a big deal because she's kind of an evasion unit too. She has reflex built into her kit. You'll see that here in a minute as well. So dexterity and luck matter on her, more than some other units do. She's a base move 3 jump 2, so better than move 3 jump 1. And then you can see her resistances. She's going to be strong against fire and weak against lightning because she's water, and that makes sense. She's strong against slash, weak against piercing, weak against strike, very strong against missile, and kind of strong against magic. Like, having 5 magic resist is a nice little addition to her kit. A lot of times physical units are weak to magic. She's not. That's really cool. Okay, let's compare her real quick though to 2 other 120 missile units. You see on the screen here, we have Winter Victoria, our newest 120 missile unit. Not our newest unit, but our newest missile unit who can go to 120 in global, and Frederica. So I also added to this screen the like substats, I guess what I'll call them, for Lara Croft and these other 2 units. So let's start with Lara. That's her 120 stats, and you can see that just base, she has 17 crit rate, 5 evade, and then missile resistance penetration 15. She's getting that from her master ability, which we'll look at here in a minute, and then there's her stats. Now, if we compare her to somebody like Winter Victoria, who is a bruiser, like Winter Victoria has survivability in her ability to take hits and be kind of a bruiser, whereas Lara Croft's survivability comes from her evasion, and that plays out in the stats. Victoria has more HP, but slightly less attack. Lara is faster than Victoria, which is really nice. And then check out like Winter Victoria has a lot of dex, which is pretty cool. They both have move 3, jump 2. Winter Victoria has a little defense. Lara Croft doesn't bring any defense or spirit. Then resistance wise, they're actually similar when it comes to none of the resistances except for strike resistance. They both suck at it. Winter Vicky is good against every physical type except strike, and then slightly weak to magic. Okay, you can see that on the screen. Note that they both have 15 water attack up. Lara does bring that new master ability that will boost the water attack of her allies. That's a big deal. So there's that comparison. Okay, let's go to Frederica. Now, Frederica gets her survivability by killing everyone, right? She has reflex in her kit like Lara does, but mostly Frederica stays at range and just shoots people to death. Frederica has less HP than Lara and Winter Victoria. Frederica has significantly less attack than Lara Croft does. And they both have 68 agility. I actually think it's a pretty good comparison as far as base stats go, because they're both very, very fast. So, you know, if you're thinking about how Frederica takes turns or how you want to balance her agility for turn order in your group, it's a good comparison in that way. Frederica, though, very weak to slash, whereas Lara Croft is not, and Frederica only has move 3, jump 1. So if that comparison helps a bunch, there it is. There you see it. I actually think Lara Croft's stats are really good, and that only tells a little bit of the story. We need to go look at her kit. And here it is. Let's start with that master ability. You can see she has the HP up and water attack up for her water allies and herself. Then she gets some really good stuff here, you guys. Missile resistance penetration 15%. That's a big deal. A lot, like missile resistance is not that rare in the game. Getting 15% missile resistance will help her do more damage. Then she has 5 evasion rate. If she was just not an evasion unit at all, that would suck. But she actually has quite a bit of evasion, so I think that's pretty good. Note also her backpack. That's her TMR, Lara's backpack. It is an accessory with 182 HP, 6 agility, 6 accuracy, and 12 evade. So a pretty good piece of gear for her. It has agility and evade on it. That's really nice. And then check this out. The TMR skill, range +1 for 3 turns. I like that on my ranged units. And critical damage up 35 for 3 turns. Now, if you've watched my videos about crit in the past, crit by itself is not that big of a damage increase. Just critting over just doing more like regular damage isn't that big of a deal. But if you combine crit with critical damage up, crit becomes really, really powerful. So this backpack is a way to get more critical damage onto your units through a buff. And it's wearable by a lot of people, as you can see on the screen there. Now, let's go look at her skills. And we'll start with her support abilities. So she has breath control. This is part of her, what is it called? Tomb Raider? Yeah, her main job is Tomb Raider. That makes a lot of sense. This is defense pin and evasion rate at its base level. It upgrades through EX jobs to be defense pin 40, evasion rate 20, so that's a buff, and critical rate 15 for herself. Like 20 evasion from a support ability. Now we're talking, like this is now a legit evasion unit. When you combine that with her master ability, you could throw some gear, some vision cards, espers in there, and you might be dodging some stuff. Okay, what are the rest of her support abilities? Concentrate is 2 range and a decrease in evasion rate. The decrease in evasion rate on Concentrate actually hurts a little bit here, so keep that in mind. Ranger Lore, 1 range, 25 accuracy. Then she has 15 missile attack from Missile Mastery, or activation time down, and 12 missile attack from Focus. I think her best 2 are going to be Breath Control and probably Missile Mastery, or Ranger Lore, depending on if you need that range. Okay, counter abilities, really, really easy. You just run Reflex. Reflex is absolutely broken. It's one of the best counter moves in the game. And so even if she doesn't dodge, she might Reflex. Or even if she doesn't Reflex, she might dodge. Great counter ability on an evasion unit. Like, how troll is that? 2B does this stuff all the time. Okay, let's keep going. Main job. Let's scroll down. Here we go. She has rapid fire. Y'all know what that is. That's on like Lucia. It's on all your gunners. Just a basic 8 use cheap attack. Adrenaline. This is an attack buff for herself and allies. Small AoE. 40% attack buff and 15 AP back for herself. That's kind of cool. I like that 15 AP. Just a little like bonus to the attack buff there. Now, if Baby Jay will allow us to continue, we can go on to the rest of her kit here. We're on to Steady Shot now. It's 165% damage, piercing. Now, okay, it says piercing right here, so that's interesting. Does that mean that, like, if she shoots all the way to the end here, it will hit everyone in the way? That's, okay, that's an interesting move then. Anyway, 25% chance to inflict blind for 3 turns for the target. Now, that blind could help her be a good evasion unit, etc. Like, if somebody's blind and you have a bunch of evasion, you got a pretty good chance of dodging. Okay, let's continue. Double bullets. This is a 200% hitting ability with evasion rate plus 25 for 3 turns for herself. So she has an evasion buff for herself only built into her kit. That's really important. And it's on a 2-hit, 200% damage attack. So the AI will use it all the time because it's going to do a bunch of damage. It gets upgraded through her EX job to decrease the AP cost by 6. Like, notice some things here. She's getting AP restore from a buff. She's getting AP decrease from this EX upgrade. She's trying to take care of some AP problems by herself without having to rely on bells maybe or something like that all the time. Now, she also has True Shot. This is a physical barrier break, so the AI will prioritize this on units with a physical barrier, 165% damage, and will restore 10 AP if she crits. Okay, we're going to get to her guns here in a minute, but critting is going to be a big part of this girl's kit. Then, her job level 25 ability, Deadeye, increases missile resistance pin by another 30 for herself. So that's really nice. It combines with her base missile resistance penetration, and she's going to be pretty good at getting around those resists. Then does 165% damage. So the AI will prioritize this one if the unit is stacking missile resist, because in that case, this will probably do more damage than a harder hitting attack like double bullets. There you go. That's kind of how that works. Now, her Tomb Raider sub job. This is a really, really interesting one, especially for PvE. It has 2 attacks. Both are multi-hit chaining attacks. So she has access to a total of 6 casts of chaining abilities. The first one, Opened Wound, is a 2-hit, 165% damage, piercing, and a bravery debuff. So she's bringing a bravery debuff. That's kind of cool. I know there's people out there who like to turn people into chickens if they can. Hey, here you go. Okay, then Triple Shot. This is poison. A chance to inflict poison, 3-hit attack, 165% damage. Pretty cool. So really like this Tomb Raider sub job for PvE specifically, and maybe for PvP too. We'll see. Okay, Gunner. She's bringing a lot of the stuff you expect from a Gunner sub job. Missile attack and range buff for herself and allies. Blackout. That's another blind attack. Leg shot, an immobilizing attack with a good range. Leg shot has a very nice range on it. Council. This is a critical hit rate buff. Keep that in mind. So 42% critical hit rate buff for her and her allies. So if she already wasn't necessarily going to crit, she'll definitely crit with this buff on. I don't know if she'll need it yet. That'll require some testing. Sidewinder. This is a piercing attack that hits in straight lines. And then Vital Shot. This is a 165% hit chance with, or 165% damage attack, excuse me, with 35% crit chance and knocks the target back by a square. Plus it has nice range. I really like Vital Shot, you guys. I'm not going to lie. Really like that ability a lot. Okay, now if you've noticed one thing so far, you've noticed she does not have AoE. If you want AoE in her kit, you got to go to her Ranger sub job and pick up Barrage. I think this is the big thing from her Ranger kit, is it gives her AoE damage, which she was completely lacking before this. So I really like the Ranger job in a lot of situations for this. But if you want her to be a single target unit, just like, you know, dropping her guns on people, you don't necessarily have to run this one. She also has the 100% hit ability Sharpshoot in here. Okay. Now her limit break, 200% damage, decreases hate on her for 4. So if, like, here's a cool thing. If you wanted to run her with like 2 water element bruisers, like let's say Titus and Winter Victoria, you wouldn't necessarily have to find hate on either of them if you were letting her use her limit break to just decrease the hate on herself. So that's kind of a cool little thing you can do with her limit break. Okay, let's go on and look at her vision card and her weapon. Okay, now starting with the vision card, we have a little goblin friend here on the bottom. He's going to be helping out for the rest of this video, I guess. Anyway, the vision card has really, really good stats for Lara Croft herself. HP and attack, obviously good on her. Dexterity will help her crit and boost her damage in general because her damage, like Laura's damage, scales off of attack, dexterity, and luck. So dexterity is good for her. And then agility is great on a vision card. This will help her evade. It'll help her go faster. Great vision card. Now, the unit effects. If you're a water unit, you get attack up plus 10%, and you get critical damage up 10%. So very good for Laura and a lot of water units, honestly. If you are the girl herself, you get critical hit rate up plus 10 and evasion rate up 5. So this is like tailor-made for Lara Croft. If you're pulling for Laura, if you're going to use her a lot, get the 25 Years of Tomb Raiding vision card. Like, it's going to help her in a big way. Okay, party effects. You're going to get missile attack up 35 for water units in your party, as well as spirit up 8. Really good, especially pairs well with her in like Crazy or her in Winter Victoria. There you go. You'll also get 35% luck, which I believe is cut off on the screen, but I only have one hand, so I can't manipulate things. But 35% luck for your water units. That's more evasion. That's like, this is Laura's card. It's really great on her. Now, let's look at her pistols, because these are the new item being put in the game, and I really like them. So check it out. I'm going to recommend the Assault version, 180 attack with 3 accuracy and 12 crit rate. Notice the crit rate is 12 on all 3 versions of the thing. The accuracy version is just giving you a little bit more accuracy, like 12. I don't think that's a good trade-off for the for losing, what, 54 damage to the Assault version. Assault all the way on this, in my opinion. Yes, it does suck you're losing 3 agility. I agree, if that's what you were thinking, but the vision card makes up for it if you're running that VC. Okay, now check out the passive effects. At plus 5, this will give you both critical hit rate up 15 and critical damage rate up 20. These are so good for her, and if you're a missile unit who likes to crit things, this is going to be fantastic. It has both the stats you want on a critical hit rate unit. I really like this. I'll have to test it out on both her, if I get her, and some other missile units, because I'm definitely building a couple of these guns. Okay, let's look at a build that I put together for Lara real quick. So I had Baby Jay just like smash his hands into the keyboard. Like, he took his hands and went, and he threw his build together real quick. Now, luckily, he's apparently just like naturally a god at team building, because he put Winter Victoria and Titus into her team. And this is kind of that build I was talking about earlier, where you can have Lara take care of her own hate through her limit break, then run 2 bruisers with Titus and Victoria to just cover her, right? To be able to take the damage. Titus even has access to Taunting Blade. Now, this build is not going to focus on them at all. Let me scroll down a little bit and we'll look at gear and vision cards. I've given Lara an evasion hat, her gun, and her TMR, all 3 things that you have access to right now if you need to build them. Then I've given her Tetrasylphid and her VC. The other 2 I'm not equipping with anything. I am going to give them vision cards though to help boost Lara. Titus, you pretty much always want Titus to run his vision card, but I want to point out here, if we look at cards, and we look at water element cards in particular, there's some really good options for Lara if you don't want to run another like if you're not running Winter Victoria, for example. Siren is really good on your mages. It's going to give you water attack up. Lara will like that. Clairvoyant Astrologer, really good on a whole bunch of water units, right? Namely Ramada, and it gives your party attack up, acquired AP up, which stacks really well with Lara and her ability to kind of like save her own AP, and 20 magic resistance to your water unit, so I really like that one as well. Then you have Snowy Fields, which will give pierce attack up and critical damage up to your water group, and I don't believe that overrides hers. Then there's Leviathan. Like, I could go on and on. What I'm saying is there's really good options in here for like your other water members of your team. I'm using Clairvoyant Astrologer for this build. Now, let's look at Lara's stats. With this build, she has 5,624 HP, over 1,000 attack, 91 agility, 436 dex, 389 luck. Like, she's killing it. Okay, now I want to go down a little bit further here. She has 45 water attack up because I paired her with 2 other newer water units. God, this guy is having a morning. You're having a morning, aren't you, buddy? Good build, though. You really put a good build together. Let's keep doing a video. Okay, I need to switch arms. Anyway, 45 water attack up, 65 missile attack up, so she's going to do a lot of damage. Then, she has 19 accuracy, 82 crit rate, she's just walking into this fight with 82 crit rate. Basically, she's going to crit. She's also walking in with 76 evade, 40 defense pin, and 15 missile attack penetration, which you know she can give herself more. So, okay. That's gonna do it for my detailed preview of Lara Croft. Big shout out once again to Baby Jay, whose forehead is appearing on the screen, for help in building that team and for not throwing up on me the whole time I was wearing my new clothes here. I've always worried about that, so thanks dude for not doing that. 1 hour of extended maintenance has pushed this into his awake time for the day, so show off for the people. Stand up for a minute. Wow, looking good, buddy. Actually looking a little thick if you, well, speaking of Lara Croft, we got a thick boy right here. Never mind. Okay, thank y'all for watching. If you made it this far and you liked the video, please hit the like and subscribe button. Both those really help me out a lot. And that's it, y'all. Have a great day. If you're pulling for Lara Croft, good luck to you, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.